it's time once again for yet another episode of Chicken Tuesday. Let's go. Well, today's question comes from yet another faithful viewer. Thank you very much for viewing Chicken Tuesday. Do appreciate it a lot. It's about eggs. Boy, you guys are very noisy. Are you trying to cluck over me? I tell you what, let's go into the tool shed and try it there. A little quieter in here than it is in the chicken coop. So today's questions are going to be kind of threefold. I know I said before I was going to do one question per episode, but because these three questions kind of all go together, I thought I'd just take care of it all in one fell swoop. So more questions you give me, the better. The more episodes, more you learn, more we all learn about chickens. Okay, so today's question, because it is threefold, it's one, how many years can they lay eggs? Two, how many years do they live in general? And then three, what do you do with chickens when they stop laying eggs? So let's take number one. Number one is they'll lay eggs from about 8 months old, maybe a little bit younger. It really depends on the breed. So it may take 6 to 8 months before you'll get any eggs from these chicks. But then from about 8 months to maybe up to 6 years, sometimes as old as 7 or 8 years. It really depends on the chicken. Now, the key here is how healthy is your chicken, how robust is their immune system, because that plays a huge role, and how happy are they. So if they're out running around and able to eat bugs in the yard, and you're interacting with them, and they're not overstressed, they're very comfortable, they're going to lay eggs for a very long time. The more stress they have, the less opportunity they have to be kind of free range and running around having a good time, the shorter amount of span. As a matter of fact, in bad weather, where they're really stressed out, they may even hold back an egg. Now, right now we have 4 chickens. All 4 of them lay at least 5 days out of the week. There's one chicken that holds back every other day or every couple of days and won't lay. Like today you saw in the brood box, there were only 3 eggs. Probably that's all we're going to get. There's one of the chickens that holds back, and that's just that bird, is the way that bird operates. So that's to be expected. Now, how long will they go? Like I said, up to about 6 years, as long as they're healthy. All right. Now, what's their life expectancy overall? Well, these particular breeds of chickens or hens will probably live 7, 8, 9, maybe as much as 10 years. Could be a little bit longer, but there's really no way of telling. It's bird to bird, really. But you could expect they'll live about 10 years. And as long as they're healthy, they got a good immune systems. You started them off young with a good immune system and took care of them, and they get free range and all that, and they're going to be happy. Now, what do we do with chickens? Well, I guess that's really kind of, after they stop producing. There are a couple of trains of thought. One is if you don't lay, you don't stay. Now, that's one train of thought. A lot of people feel that way. Secondly, if you don't give, you don't live. That's another approach. Because if they're just looking, if owners are just looking for eggs and eggs only, they need to be laying. That way they're producing, and there's income if it's an income thing. If it's just for your own pleasure and just for eggs for yourself, and you may have a slightly different approach to that. And then you as a person, how do you feel about keeping chickens? Now, I will say this: if chickens don't produce eggs, they are, at least in my home, they are less likely to last a very, very long time. And the reason that is, in other words, I may end up butchering them at some point. Now, the reason why that is, if I introduce, and if you watch last week's episode, you'll see how we talked a little bit about introducing new chickens to the brood and getting more producers. You're going to want to cycle some things in. So it all gets down to conservation, how much room you have. I can only fit, the maximum I'm going to fit is 6 birds in there. I got 4. If I'm going to add 2 are going to have to go at some particular point, and we may end up having them for dinner. But if I wasn't too interested in that, and that may change for me, but in a lot of cases, people will build an extra space so they can put more birds. And there is a benefit to an older hen being in there, even though they may not lay eggs after about 6 or 7 years. One, they still eat bugs, and if they're free range, they're going to keep the bug population, especially here in Central Texas. You know, it's the bug capital of the world, it seems like, and I'm sure depending on where you live, you probably feel the same way. But they keep the bug population down, which is very, very good. And we do let our chickens run around and all of that. They eat all sorts of stuff, and they're happy. We get some pleasure out of them, so I guess that's part number 2. I enjoy the birds, and they're very pleasant animals to me. And I just like having hens around. Thirdly, you know, they are older hens are kind of like the grandma of the brood, and they're much wiser. They're much more apt to be broody, that is, taking care of younger hens, younger birds that are in the coop. So they serve a purpose that way as well. So all of that to say, the longer you can keep them, at least from my perspective, the better. Now, there may come a time where I got to introduce more birds and I can't hold any more birds, and then, like I say, they're probably going to have to be butchered, a couple of them anyway, at some point. The downside to that is I don't like doing that. I've had to do it, you know, on a number of occasions already, and not only here at this place, but in our previous place we had to do similar. So it's not always the most pleasant thing, but they do bless us with life by giving their life, and I fully respect the birds for that, and I don't take it lightly at all. And it's one of those thought-provoking things, you know, and each individual is going to be different in the way that they approach it, but that's kind of how I approach it. Very thought-provoking. Will they die a natural death? If we don't need to occupy or continue to fill up that brood box and the chicken pen, yeah, they'll probably go until one day I walk out and the bird is expired, and then we'll bury it. You know, it'd be one of those kinds of things. By the way, if a bird naturally expires, I would not eat it, because I won't know exactly why. It could be that it could be diseased. You know, that's always a possibility as they get older. So I wouldn't eat it at that point. I want to eat if I'm gonna have it for dinner, it's gonna be while it's still healthy, and when I do the autopsy, that is, look at its liver, look at its kidneys, make sure that it is a very healthy bird before I ingest it. So that's kind of the approach. Those are the 3 things. You know, how long do they make eggs? About 6 years or so. How long do they expect it to live? Could be as much as 10 years, could be a little bit more, depending on how healthy they are and how well you care for them. And then 3, what do I do with them afterwards? The choice is going to be up to you. Well, there you go. That's all I got for you today. Chicken Tuesday. There's correct question, what is it, 6A, B, and C. There you go. And if you have any other questions, leave them below. I do have a few more questions that I'll get to, so make sure you are subscribed and you've got the notification bell hit so that you can be notified when the next Chicken Tuesday comes up, as well as the other stuff that we do around here at the TSG channel. All right, we're going to take off. God bless you. God bless America. May America bless God. Now it's time just to watch the chickens. Okay, folks, if you like Chicken Tuesday and you like to see the chickens and you like to learn more about chickens, leave a comment down below. It takes a lot of work to put these things together, but I enjoy doing them if I know you enjoy watching them. So let me know, okay? Share this video with friends of yours, please, as many as you possibly can. Let them know about Chicken Tuesday too, and have them comment. Don't forget to press that like button on this video, okay? Do that for me. All right, thank you.